Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a bit of an update video on a video I made a while ago. It was sort of like a month and a half ago, talking about Call of Duty World War II, Battlefront 2, and Destiny 2, sort of compared what we had seen previously, and basically rank them on which one you should pre-order versus which one you should pre-order last. Since that video, E3 has passed. Each of these developers has given a little bit more information about their game, and we're going to be talking about what we know now and how that pairs up against what we thought back in early May. I do recommend that you go watch the first video though. It'll sort of fill you in on this conversation that we're going to be having, where we talk about what we know now versus what we didn't know then. So with that said, let's go ahead and start off the video just like we did a month and a half ago. Let's start talking about Destiny 2 and what we now know about Destiny 2 post E3. So E3 showed us a few interesting things about Destiny 2 that we didn't know before E3. Some of these happened to be about the campaign and the story, and a lot of these were about the physics of the game and how the game worked. Now, we already knew that Ghaul was the main antagonist of the story. He's this crazy Cabal war chief that's out there causing havoc and destroying everything that us Guardians knew and loved about the world. But what we now know is that Ghaul straight up has the ability to kill the player's Guardians. So we saw in the pre-release trailer, our characters were weak, they were stumbling around, they lost their light, they lost their ability with the ghost, and we didn't see any real use of the ghosts in the trailer. The reason for that is because Ghaul completely wiped them out. Now, we don't know if the ghosts are going to be returning later in the story, or if they're just MIA for the moment. Maybe we'll go save them in the story. That's not really known for sure, but we do know that the light is obviously intertwined with the ghosts, and because the light is gone, the ghosts are gone as well. And as far as the first Destiny game goes, we know the main antagonist was this entity called the Darkness. Well, the Darkness isn't really present at all in this new game. Instead, the antagonist, the main opponent, actually takes a physical form, which is Ghaul. And I guess even Bungie didn't really know what they were doing with the Darkness. I guess it sort of seemed kind of choppy, kind of vague. So they cut the Darkness completely out of the story, and now we just have Ghaul as the main antagonist for the campaign story. Now, as far as release information, we all know Destiny is going to be giving PlayStation members exclusive content. That was really cool a year or two ago when I had a PlayStation, but now that I've gone PC Master Race, I'm going to have to get in line with everyone else. Some of the weapons, some of the exotics, the maps are going to be exclusive to PlayStation. They're going to be a timed exclusive for 1 year. After a year, everyone else will get to play it, which is pretty apparent. The PC version of the game also got a release date, which is October 24th, and I guess the console release dates were moved forward, which is kind of interesting. We also now know more information about the beta. For people who pre-ordered the game, for PlayStation members, that beta is going to begin July 18th to the 20th. For Xbox One members who pre-ordered, it's going to be going from 19th to the 20th, and for everyone else on console, it's going to be going from the 21st to the 23rd. Now, PC members are sort of shuffled in the mix right now. We don't really know an exact day or days when the beta is going to be out and about for PC players, but we do know that it's going to be in August. It's kind of interesting. This poster makes it seem like, PC players get the beta the entire August, which, would coincide with the whole PC Master Race thing that people scream, but I'm sure that's not the case. So that was everything E3 showed us about Destiny 2. Now let's talk about Call of Duty World War II and everything E3 showed us about that title. Now, before I start the concrete information, I'd just like to say objectively, the game looks very solid, complete, and stable. You're not jumping off the ground, you're not boosting into the air. There isn't any futuristic aspects of the game. Everything looks more or less like Black Ops 2 felt. And, Black Ops 2 obviously was very futuristic, but you were on the ground nonetheless. So I will say that the game does look very nice. Now let's begin the information. We now know that Call of Duty World War II is going to be implementing a system of divisions, where basically the way to think about this is some guns and some perks and some abilities are only going to be available on a certain division class rather than others. Think of it like Battlefield. You can only use a sniper on some classes. You can't use snipers on all of them, in the same way that you can also use LMGs on some classes, but not on all of them. It sort of splits them apart and keeps them to their own set class. Additionally, if you do pre-order Call of Duty World War II, I saw on Steam you do get some special division customization. So of course they're going to have their microtransaction DLC customization, but you do get some for pre-order in the game, so that's also there. Another thing Call of Duty World War II is going to have is it's going to have this new system called Headquarters Mode, and think of it like the Tower in Destiny. It's going to be a place where a bunch of people, in fact 48 players, are able to sit in a sort of like a community hub and prep before a game. You're going to be able to test fire weapons, all this type of stuff. and I'm sure they're going to be adding more to the game later on in its life cycle. So that's going to be included in the game as well. A game mode called War Mode is going to be included. It's just, it looks like madness. I mean, there are going to be vehicles in the multiplayer as well, but people are speculating that War Mode is going to be the only game type that has these vehicles. So in theory, you won't be able to fight with tanks or fight against tanks in Team Deathmatch or Kill Confirmed, etc. But if you want to fight with tanks, or like I said, fight in tanks, all you have to do is hop into War Mode, and that is a reality. Overall, the biggest thing we learned from E3 about Call of Duty World War II was the multiplayer gameplay reveal, and like I said, it looks fantastic. I might consider getting it. I know Call of Duty is a bit weird on PC. I'll have to think about it, but it definitely looks like a good game so far. And last but not least, we saw some gameplay from Star Wars Battlefront 2, EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 to be specific. We saw some gameplay about that, and while we didn't learn a bunch of stuff, we did get to see some new environments, some new implementation of characters, and overall it looks like a pretty cool experience. Now in the first Star Wars Battlefront, we really only had barren open environments with just rebels and stormtroopers fighting it out on whatever environment you were on. Here we see maps with a little bit of more depth, we get to see more characters. Overall, the Star Wars universe is expanding in this game, and hopefully they execute it well, because so far it's looking pretty nice. And as promised, the first major DLC pack is going to be free. We don't know when it's going to be released, but we do know that it is going to be free for all players. Now, while you don't have to purchase that DLC, you are able to purchase a special version of the game, which includes better guns, better modifiers, basically what we saw in the first Battlefront. So if everything goes the same way, there's going to be a really overpowered gun that you can only get by paying $20, and then when you finally level up enough to get it, they're going to nerf it. So, you know, the game might be a bit choppy at first, but that's all speculation, of course. But yeah, those were the major points that we learned about the new first-person shooter AAA games coming out later this year. Now comes the big question: which one should you throw $60 at? In an ideal world, you'd be able to buy all three and enjoy all of the content whenever you wanted. However, money is tight for some people, so I feel like it is important to rate these so that people who don't have all of that money are able to make a smart decision. Now, I believe in my last video, I rated it number 1 Destiny 2, number 2 Star Wars Battlefront 2, and number 3 Call of Duty World War II. I'm going to have to revise that. I'm going to go ahead and vote number 1 still Destiny 2, number 2 Call of Duty World War II, and number 3 Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, while Star Wars Battlefront 2 looks like a fantastic game, Call of Duty World War II really helped to show that they are willing to evolve with the way games are changed nowadays, and their multiplayer release really helped them out. It's no secret that the Call of Duty franchise is a multiplayer based game, and the release of the multiplayer footage that they did release really, I believe, in my opinion, helped them out by not only keeping them boots on the ground, but also displaying a very solid playstyle and environment. And of course, we can't forget the new social system that they're doing, where they're implementing a headquarters mode. Who knows what that's going to look like, but that definitely turns it into more than just a multiplayer campaign and survival mode type game. It gives it more of a social platform, and I'm interested to see how that is going to turn out. And that leaves us with Star Wars Battlefront 2. And the game does look fantastic, I'll give it that. They are adding more aesthetically pleasing maps rather than these huge open ranges of battlefield. And of course, they are giving the universe more depth and adding more characters and more generations of the Star Wars universe into the game. But that was it. You know, the other games, Destiny 2 and World War II, showed us that they are willing to make major mechanical changes and major environmental changes to the game. Changes that I didn't see present in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 universe. And like I said, I'm going to be a broken record at this point. The game looks phenomenal. However, it just didn't wow me in the way that World War II and Destiny 2 wowed me. So that's my opinion on these games so far. Post E3, E3 is over, and this is what we've learned. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Let me know what you think. Do you think that my list is completely wrong and I'm a terrible person? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.